Hi everyone, it's Nicole. I have another page for you, so I'm just showing you some of the products. A lot of it is from the January Studio Calico um, Kit Club. There is a recollection journaling pad, and I thought I was going to use the MFT. It's like a little baby's onesie. I didn't end up using it. I'm sure I'm going to use it soon. I had just bought it not too long ago and showed you in one of my hauls. And I'm going to use a lot of the scraps from the what's left. And I think the only full sheet is that blue triangle paper, and the rest is all scraps. I figure I'm going to have possibly up to 3 more pages with the January Kit Club. I find I don't like to put it away until I feel like I've used it up. And after I do the next 3 pages, the only thing that's going to be left is a lot of that simple stories, the dots and the stripes, and I don't find it matches well with or coordinates well with the rest of the collection, so I might just put it in my stash and use it later on. So I'm going to use about 6 inches of that triangle paper, and I'm going to mat my photo with the chevron paper, and I'm going to use that, I guess it's white with blue polka dots paper, and I'm going to make it so it's a larger than normal mat. I'm going to do some journaling on that. At first I think I'm going to use that journaling paper, but then I decide against it. And this is from I believe it's Pebbles, and I'm going to use some of the die cuts. Excuse me. And I'm going to use the one that says, I love you with all my heart, I believe is what it says. That Your Number One, I had cut it out from a previous layout that I thought I was going to use, but I don't end up using it. I'm thinking of that family one, but I don't end up using that one either. So I'm going to cut out that I love you with all my heart, and I believe I'm going to do some journaling on the side there. And I find the bottom is kind of bare, so to bring some of that chevron and the color red to the bottom, I just cut about, I believe it was a 1.5 or 1 3/4 inch stripe. I didn't really measure it. I just kind of picked a size and cut it. And I'm looking at that number tape, and I believe it's from the All About a Boy collection from My Mind's Eye. And I'm going to use that envelope that we got in the kit this month. And it says hello, and then the tag that I put in, that was from the digital kit. And a lot of the stuff is from the digital printouts that I did. And there's that little tag that says Monday, Tuesday to Saturday. And then the other one says AM, PM. So I'm going to cut off the PM and use the AM. So I'm going to be able to take the date that he was born, like Friday, and then I'm going to put the time, which was 2:21 a.m. So I'm thinking of using that white clip, but it's not, I'm not going to be able to get to work. So I'm looking at those teal or aqua brads that we got about 3 months ago in one of the kits. So I'm going to put those on the page. We got such a big package, and I try to use some every month to get them used up. I'm also going to use one of the flares that we got this month. It said Hello World, so I felt it really fit that layout. And at the bottom of that, those little strips that are at the bottom of each page, some of the companies now are starting to actually put some things on, and I really like this one. It said Sweetie Pie and You Are So Cute, I believe, and Sweetheart, and I Love You, and Smile. So I just cut it up and use it as, you know, a little accent on my page. So I'm going to use it in every cluster, and then I'm going to glue one right on the picture. At first I think I'm going to use that little arrow, that little blue and white arrow, but I forget about it when I do the journaling, and I journal too far and I can't use it, but I'm sure I'll use it on another page. And the bottom right cluster, again, it was one of the digital printouts, and I had used, I believe it was a tag, and I used the tag on another page. And this one, it says hi there, and then on one of the strips that I cut up, it says sweetheart. So then it says, hi there, sweetheart. So that's going to be at the bottom. And I'm kind of trying to put a balance of colors in each of the clusters. And I thought I was going to stamp baby at the bottom of the journaling tag, but I don't end up doing that. And I'm using some of the hearts, the Prima hearts that we got in the kit this month. I'm looking to see if I could use that washi tape that we got in the February kit. I'm using a little bit from especially the washi because I know there's no way I'll be able to use it all in 1 month. So as soon as they come in, I just kind of put it with the stuff from Studio Calico and then try to use it up because, I mean, I'm sure washi, we could use some on every page and it would still last, you know, well over a year, especially that ombre one. It's got quite a bit in it. So I'm wanting to use some washi and to separate that chevron red and the blue. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm going through my own stash and trying to figure out which one I want to use. So I'm going to go through quite a bit, trying to decide. Either the blue wasn't right, it was more like a baby blue and not that teal. I don't have a lot of washi tape that's the teal color. So I'm looking at all different red ones, and I believe I'm going to decide on that red and white chevron because you only see a little bit of it next to that I love you with all my heart and a little bit between the paper and the envelope. And the main thing was I was trying to make it so that the envelope looked connected to the rest of the layout and not just that it was sitting there. So that was kind of my reasoning for wanting to put something there. So I'm going to start gluing my layout together. And I love my ATG gun. I use it on all my layouts, and if I do a 3D project, I use it on with that too, with score tape also. I find you don't have to put a lot, like you don't have to put it in every single little corner, and it holds really, really well. Plus, where I do like to tuck things in behind, if you put it too much everywhere, then you can't tuck in behind stuff. And I tried to slow down the video this time around, just so that I wouldn't have to talk like I'm racing. So hopefully I have enough to say to last the whole 16 minutes. So we'll try this out and see. And so I'm going to start gluing the things on top of the envelope. So I kind of have everything kind of tipped so that it's not straight on. Oh, and I also put a little potty boy there just so that you know, it's a little boy. So I X'd off Friday, and now I'm going to put 2:21, and then it's going to say AM. And there wasn't any little dots so that I could do, you know, for the hours. So I just used my pen and did it with that. And I'm going to glue down the hello world, but then I'm going to decide on coloring the hearts. So I'm going to rip that apart again. So now I'm going to start working on the bottom cluster. And hopefully I remember to pull up the page a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to, I'm kind of scrapping sideways, so sometimes it's hard to remember to push it up a little bit. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm working a little bit at the bottom cluster, the envelope cluster, the top cluster. There, I moved it up. So I'm trying to see where I could put those brads. And that's where I decide I'm going to color those hearts. So I have, it's a Jenny Bowl in the cough syrup, and I can't remember what the other one is called, but I end up choosing the one that's lighter. There's one that's deeper and one that's lighter. And so I'm going to ink up those hearts, all three of them. And they're kind of embossed, so when you ink them up, there's all kinds of patterns on them, chevrons and words, and so I really like that. So I'm going to glue down the hearts, even though they have some adhesive on it. I do like to put my own adhesive on it. So I'm going to do the same thing there. Put some quick dry adhesive glue, wet glue on it. And I glue down the little potty boy. And at first I put quite a thick dimensional on there, but it was quite high, so because you already had the chipboard heart, so then I just took one of those Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and they're quite a bit less thick, so it did a better job. So I'm going to end up cutting the legs off some of the brads and to put on that heart because I didn't want to have to pierce through the heart, so I just put it with the glue dot on the chipboard heart. And I want to put some twine through that tag, so I'm just looking for a punch that I could use, and I end up using just a regular office 1/4 inch punch. And then I'm going to use, the camera's going to move a little bit because I had to open my drawer to get the twine because I hadn't planned on using twine on this layout. So, and then I'm also going to put some dimensional at the top of the tag so that it's kind of lifted off the page a little bit so that it has a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to start gluing the heart at the top of the top left cluster. And again, for some reason I never work on one cluster at a time. I kind of go back and forth between the clusters and glue it down. Actually had my little grandson that was sitting next to me in his little chair, so if you see me disappearing, and I don't think you really see it during the recording because it's sped up a little bit, but I would just pay a little bit of attention to him. But he slept through most of the time that I was doing this, and it took me an hour and 5 minutes to get this done. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to always record while I was going to do a page because I figured it was going to take extra time, but it's actually taking less time to do pages. So it usually took me 2 to 3 hours to get a page done, and I think it's because I felt like I had lots of time, so I just kind of took my time and didn't start cutting right away. I just pondered a whole bunch more than I actually scrapbooked. But with the tape rolling, I know that I'm limited because it's a flip video and the battery only lasts about an hour and 45 minutes. So I have to keep going so that my battery doesn't die, because that's a pain, because then I have to wait for it to charge up again. And so I actually keep going and don't stop. So I'm actually scrapbooking a little faster, which is good because I'm putting a little bit more time at work because I had to switch a lot of shifts for my son's hockey, and because of my grandson when he was born, I had to switch my shifts to make sure that I was going to be there for his birth. And my second daughter does cheerleading, and I had to switch some shifts so I could go to her competitions. And so my schedule is a little bit all over the place. So I find that I have to work like 7 shifts in a row. So if I get an hour, I want to make sure that I get a page done. And so I got 2 more night shifts. I have one tonight and one tomorrow night, and then I have 6 days off. But we're also going to a hockey tournament, so I'll be gone for 3 days. But I'll have 3 days that I'll be home, so I'm hoping to get a few pages at least recorded, and then while I'm working, I can upload the videos and work on them a little bit every day. So long story short, I'm hoping to have a few videos uploaded in the next week or so. So I used some of that washi tape that I grabbed from my collection. And again, I think it was in the All About a Boy, My Mind's Eye collection. So I kind of put it in all the different clusters, and some of them they're not very big, but I just kind of wanted to bring a little bit in every cluster. And then I wanted to, because there was twine on my tag, I wanted to put a little bit of twine at each cluster. So I'm going to put some at the top left, some at the bottom right, and so it kind of ties it all in. And I'm going to put that little I love you right on the baby. And I'm not going to show you the journaling, but basically the journaling that's beside the I love you with all my heart, I just kind of said who was there for the birth. There was 8 of us there. 2 of us could be at the room at the time, but the other 6 were all in the waiting room, and all cheering her on. And in the pocket, it's a little bit more, personal, just how the birth went. And my daughter was hilarious the entire birth. She cracked jokes the entire time. Had no pain till she was 8 centimeters dilated, and had the baby in 8 minutes. So I just kind of go through a little bit more detail for the baby. So I'm kind of talking to the baby uh, in there, so that when he wonders how it went, that he can find out all about his birth. So that's it for this page, and thanks for watching. Bye.